Hi, I'm Lionel, this is TECHLOTO, and this is my unboxing and setup video for the Polar Vantage V2. I've been really excited to get my hand on this watch ever since we heard the rumours on the Polar Reddit page, but let's get straight into it. So it comes in the type of packaging that we've become accustomed to when it comes to these high-end Polar watches, but the presentation of it is a bit different this time. I think they've made it a bit more simple so it's easier to get your watch out and get on with setting it up and making use of it. All you need to do is pull apart the box and the outer layer, and then lift the top part of the box, and the first thing you'll see is a section holding your Polar booklet. These are booklets in different languages that cover the manual and the terms and conditions. You lift that up and there you can see it, your brand new Polar Vantage V2. As soon as you take out the Polar Vantage V2, the first thing you notice is this watch is a lot lighter. This isn't only lighter than the Polar Vantage V, it's actually lighter than the Polar Grit X, which is saying something. But it's still the high quality build that we're used to, but I'll leave that for the review. Under that you see your new Polar cable for charging your watch. Connect it just to save yourself any heartache. Charge it for about an hour and come back. The interesting thing with this is, with other Polar watches, as soon as you connect it to the charger and it gets a bit of power in it, it switches on automatically. This one didn't, which I found very interesting. So you do have to press and hold the bottom left button to power it on. I hope that's correct for everyone and it wasn't just for me. So let's say you've now powered on the Polar watch. My advice to you is, even if you're new to Polar, and especially if you've already set up a Polar account, the best way to get your watch up and running is to connect it straight to the computer. Don't bother trying to connect it to your phone and setting it up with your phone at first. Make sure you set it up with your computer first. That's my advice. It's just a lot easier when you download the Polar app and it syncs all your data. What I found is, even when I've set it up with my phone and it's worked, I found that I've had to go back to my computer just to sync it, just to make sure that all my sport profiles are actually on the watch. So you've downloaded the Polar app and you've synced your watch. Now it's good to go. What you want to do is go onto the Polar website, go onto your products, and if you already have a Polar watch, you probably want to remove that from your profile. You don't want there to be any confusion. So just do that and get up and running with the new watch. So at a glance, what's new? Well, you have the same menus that you're used to, but you have a couple more options in the settings section. I like that it has the weather information like the Polar Grit X. I like the fact that Polar's building on top of their watches. The old ones that you have, you still feel that they're good, but with the new ones, you can see that they're adding that little bit more that helps you see the value in the newer watches. You have the activity as normal. You have the section that recommends different types of exercises based on the exercise that you've already been doing during the week. You also have your nightly recharge section, and to get that up and running you need to use the watch for 3 days, and to get the full scope of the information about your sleep you need to wear this watch for 28 days. You have your heart rate, you have your section for your cardio load status like before, but there's something new about this watch menu. Now you have this week's training summary, something that you would have had to go to your phone to use. Now you have it on the watch. You'll notice that one thing that I always push for is that the watch should be as independent as possible. And what I mean by that is that I should be able to see most of, and if not all of my data on the watch without feeling overwhelmed, of course, but without having to go on the phone. Of course, when you go onto the Polar Flow website, you're going to see so much information, more than you can see on the watch, and then you can do a deep dive. But the general information that I'm seeing on the phone, now I can have the confidence that most of it I'm seeing on the watch. And not only can you see this week's summary, you can see the previous week and the following week as well. And as before, you can see your most recent training sessions. It does give you quite a lot of information, so you won't feel like you need to go back to your phone to check it. I know I said this isn't a review, but I just can't help myself. There's so much more to unpack with the Polar Vantage V2, but it looks beautiful. I really like what they've done with the presentation this time. It gives you that quality feeling that the Polar Vantage V had. Even though I love the Polar Grit X, Polar Vantage V just gave me that feeling that I could wear this watch anywhere. Polar Grit X was obviously a specialized watch for certain type of activities. The Polar Vantage V2 feels great, looks great, sits on your hand and it's so light. I like that the buttons are a lot softer than the Polar Vantage V. When you push it down, it doesn't feel flimsy, but it doesn't feel as hard as the Polar Vantage V. Anyway, I'm going to go too much into this, but this is the unboxing video and I hope you found this video helpful. If you need any more help with setting up your watch, I'll leave lots of videos in the description, and the setup process is usually the same. But if you have any specific questions, let me know, and it doesn't cost me anything to make a quick video about it. This is the important part. Let me know what you want to see in the Polar Vantage V2 review. Leave your comments below because it will influence what I do next in the review video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe.